9 days after Christmas, Jennifer Marillo Sheffield's family gathered at a funeral home in Brandon, Mississippi, to say goodbye to her. The service was private. It was also shared. Jennifer was buried beside the man who killed her. In the photos later circulated online, she didn't even have her own portrait displayed prominently. She appeared only in shared photographs, positioned as part of the story instead of the center of her own. Even in death, the room seemed arranged around him. But Jennifer Sheffield had been building a future. She was a mother, a biochemist, a graduate student studying medicine, a woman with plans, ambition, and 2 daughters depending on her. She had over 6,500 followers on TikTok, where just weeks before her death, she sat in her car and admitted something painfully human. She was scared, not because she feared violence, because she was starting over. Before her name became a headline, before millions of people replayed her final videos searching for warning signs, Jennifer Marillo Sheffield was a 30-year-old woman trying to rebuild her life. She was born on September 9, 1994, in Mississippi to Eileen and Gilbert Marillo. Her younger brother, Austin, described her as a constant source of love and support. Her family was close-knit and deeply rooted in faith. And according to those who knew her, Jennifer carried that faith sincerely. It shaped how she handled hardship, uncertainty, and change. Professionally, Jennifer was accomplished long before her story went viral. She earned a bachelor's degree in biochemistry before completing a master's degree in biology and medical science. At the time of her death, she was enrolled in the Master of Medical Sciences program at Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi, working toward becoming a doctor. She wasn't casually pursuing medicine. She was committed to it. Her professors and colleagues described her as passionate, driven, and deeply compassionate. She worked in healthcare and moved naturally through different professional communities, building connections everywhere she went. Helping people wasn't just a career choice for Jennifer. It was who she was. And above everything else, she was a mother. Her daughters, Kylie and Gracie Sheffield, were at the center of her life. They were the reason she kept pushing forward, the reason she wanted financial stability, the reason she planned to buy a new house, the reason she kept going even when she admitted she felt overwhelmed. On December 10th, 2024, Jennifer uploaded a TikTok from her car in Brandon, Mississippi. She explained that she was about to become a newly single mother and asked viewers for advice about saving money, budgeting, and living independently for the first time. She said she had never been on her own before. She said she was a little scared right now. But she also said something else. She described her divorce as civil. She said her husband had been supportive throughout the process. She sounded hopeful, grateful even. That video would later be viewed millions of times after her death, not because people care about budgeting advice, but because viewers became fixated on the tragic irony. The woman praising her husband online will be dead less than 3 weeks later. But reducing Jennifer's video to foreshadowing misses the point. What the video actually showed was honesty. Jennifer wasn't naive. She was vulnerable in a way most people aren't. She openly admitted she didn't know exactly how to navigate the next chapter of her life, and she asked strangers for help anyway. She was transparent about her fears, her finances, and the uncertainty ahead of her. She was building something new. 18 days later, on the morning of December 28, 2024, officers from the Brandon Police Department responded to a welfare check at a residence on Tulone Street in Brandon, Mississippi. Jennifer's family had been unable to reach her. When officers arrived, relatives inside the home reportedly told them there were obvious signs of foul play. Jennifer Sheffield and her estranged husband, Brandon Sheffield, were both found dead from gunshot wounds. Police later stated that preliminary evidence indicated Brandon Sheffield shot Jennifer before turning the gun on himself. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation assisted with processing the crime scene. No charges were filed because Brandon died at the scene. Investigators ultimately classified the deaths as a murder-suicide. One of the couple's daughters was believed to have been inside the home during the incident. Jennifer's official date of death was listed as December 27, 2024. She was 30 years old. Brandon Sheffield was 40. In the aftermath, people who knew the couple struggled to reconcile what had happened with the version of Brandon they thought they knew. Friends described him as loving, calm, and devoted to his family. One friend who had known both Jennifer and Brandon said she had never known him to be violent. That reaction is common in cases like this. One of the most misunderstood realities of intimate partner homicide is that lethal violence does not always come with a long documented history of physical abuse. Research consistently shows that the most dangerous period in many abusive relationships is separation. Jennifer was leaving. She was making plans for a life that no longer revolved around Brandon Sheffield. She was discussing finances, independence, housing, and single motherhood publicly. She was moving forward. And statistically, that period can become the point of highest risk. That does not mean Brandon Sheffield had a hidden history nobody noticed. It means the absence of prior visible violence is not the same thing as the absence of danger. After Jennifer's death, her December 10th TikTok spread rapidly across social media. Millions of viewers watched a woman unknowingly documenting the beginning of a future she would never get to live. A GoFundMe was created for Kylie and Gracie Sheffield to help support the girls after the deaths. The fundraiser described the unimaginable situation facing the family and asked the community for support while they tried to navigate the tragedy. But online attention soon shifted toward another issue entirely: Jennifer's funeral. Photos from the joint service sparked outrage because Jennifer did not appear to have her own standalone portrait displayed. She existed visually only through shared images connected to Brandon. To many people, it felt like Jennifer disappeared behind the man who killed her. And unfortunately, that pattern is not unique. In murder-suicide cases, families are often forced into impossible emotional territory. They are grieving someone they loved while simultaneously confronting the reality of what that person did. The grief is real. The confusion is real. But too often, the victim becomes secondary in the process. Jennifer deserved to be centered in the story of her own life. She deserved more than being remembered as a cautionary tale or viral tragedy. She was a biochemist, a healthcare professional, a graduate student on her way to becoming a doctor, a daughter, a sister, a mother raising two little girls while trying to create a better future for them. She deserved her own photograph. She deserved her own memorial. And she deserved to have her life remembered separately from the violence that ended it. Because Jennifer Sheffield's final public words were not a warning. They were an invitation. She asked for advice because she believed she still had time to build the life she wanted. She talked about fear because she trusted that fear could be survived. There was a house she planned to buy, a degree she planned to finish, and years of motherhood she expected to live through. None of that exists now. Not because Jennifer stopped wanting it, but because someone decided her future was no longer hers to have. That is the only part of this story that belongs to him. The rest belongs to Jennifer.